Welcome to Energy Innovations, a regular video series that explores the latest innovations in technology, digital, regulations, products, services, finance, and business models that are impacting the energy sector. Energy Innovations interviews entrepreneurs, energy companies, capital markets, and regulators to understand how the energy industry is changing.
Welcome to Energy Innovations. My name is Geoffrey Cann, and today we're going to dig into the world of Uber-like technologies for the oil and gas industry. The industry features an enormous amount of on-the-road activity, trucks, crews, equipment going from sheds to sites to lay-down yards and back again. And this area of oil and gas is ripe for innovation and transformation. And today I'm going to be joined by Shawn Martens, who is the founder and VP of Operations for a company called IronSight. Shawn, welcome to Energy Innovations.
Geoffrey, thank you for having me, and excited to talk about IronSight and some innovations that we're up to.
Now, you and I first met, a couple of 3 or 4 years ago now at a coffee shop in Calgary, where you told me the very, very interesting story of how your company got started. I wonder if you might just play that back for us, because it's an illustration of how entrepreneurship actually happens.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember that day vividly. We met in the coffee shop, Geoffrey. I hit you on LinkedIn and you responded, and we've been chatting ever since. So. Yeah, a little bit about IronSight. It's a unique story. It's something we're extremely proud of. Adam and I, so you said founder, I'm actually the co-founder. So Adam Jessom and I co-founded the business. But we actually co-founded the business of a vac truck company in 2014. Part of our business plan was to build an in-house app. You know, the thought of a $10 cab ride now can get tracked, hold people, driver and rider accountable. You can pay for it. You can see when the unit's coming, so you don't have to communicate, all that. And that's for a $10 cab ride. And then in our business, which we were at that time, we were a back truck company, $2,000 a job. There was nothing. It was pen, paper, calls, miscommunication. So we designed an app in-house in 2014 to solve that problem. And that's how we were going to gain market share. Little did we know we would end up here today. So we had a client in 2017 said, hey, we like your service, okay, but we actually like your software more. We want to take your software, and the exact words were, we want to rent your software and implement it across all of our other services that we use in our field. Luckily, that was one of the biggest oil companies in the world at that time, and that was 2017. So Adam and I pivoted, looked into the market. There was nothing there connecting demand, so being an oil company, and connecting supply in a field execution type platform. There's a lot of other ones that do other stuff, but yeah, so we sold all these vac trucks out of the business now today. Super proud, a team of just over 30, growing, month by month here. Based out of Edmonton, Calgary, we have an office, and then we're just standing up our office in Houston and Texas. So yeah, super excited, and like I said, very proud of where we come from, and we know how to connect with our clients, because Adam's a production engineer by trade, and I'm an electrician by trade. So we know who we need to, or we know our clients.
Know your clients really well. Who's the actual software brains in the development? Did you contract for that, or did someone join your team, or is one of you actually a secret software developer?
No. So we got it built overseas to start, actually. So like an MVP built. Yep. Hey, proof of concept. Let's see if this thing works. We go it. Once we did that, we actually brought the engineering over to contracted a company out of Edmonton called De Facto. They were great to us, started up. And then we said in 2017, when we're going to go at this thing and we're going to bring this to market. Yep. We brought on some really key elements. We have a great team. I'm going to give them a little shout out: Mike Milner, Craig Carnes, Greg Patterson, and on and on and on. And we actually have a very good thing going with the University of Alberta. So we have interns that we get from U of A. Our office is just down the street from them.
Right.
We're a team of about 17 in the engineering and product side. So, very strong and prosperous. And we've been very focused on that, because none of the founders have a technical background in that. So
there you are, yeah.
Yeah.
So can you just elaborate as to why this is such a hard problem to solve, and why the industry would have waited so long? As you point out, $2,000 call out gets tracked on paper and pencil, but a $10 cab ride is tracked down to the penny. Like, well, why is this such a hard problem to solve, do you think?
Yeah, like I think we were talking before we came on here, and you said the word tolerate. So that resonated. I wrote it down here. I think the industry's just tolerated. They didn't know what they didn't know. First and foremost, I don't think there was a platform like IronSight that could, we always say we are the closest to the wellhead. So, that vac truck driver, that electrician, that whoever is closest to the wellhead. So, yeah, I think it was just, evolution of, hey, we need to find more efficiency in our business. Hey, we don't need to manually upload 10,000 production accounting forms a month manually when we're collecting it digitally already. So, simple integrations. I think honestly, the biggest one that I've seen though, Geoffrey, is IronSight doesn't want to be everything. There's other systems that are your end systems, I call it, your, production accounting, your accounting software, your KPI software, the big systems that all these companies are using. We don't want to be any of those. We want to be closer to the wellhead, taking the guesswork, taking that, all that work that is happening in the field, and we want to collect it and move it into these end systems. So we've really found our product market fit, we'd say. Maybe that's why that hasn't happened in a combination of all the other stuff I talked about. So
what does if you're a service company and you're actually on or using something like an IronSight, what kind of upgrades or upfit do you need to do to your equipment or your professionals so that they can actually, be able to use this technology? And here I'm thinking, if you think about Uber, because to me the closest parallel is the Uber driver, all they need is a smartphone.
Yeah, so I'll probably stop you. We've refined it over the years from Uber to more like skip the dishes.
Ah, okay.
So we're still in that why.
Yep.
Because when we onboard an oil producer, the demand side, as we call it in our in our world.
Yep.
They tell us who to onboard. So we don't have this big marketplace of Uber has a set of drivers. That's it. So it's easy.
Yep.
For us, it's these oil companies still have MSAs, and we don't remove any of that. So let's be very clear there. We're just that transaction of how they're going to interact and how you're going to do work in the field. So yeah, we say you kind of pick much more like a skip the dishes model. So
yeah,
that's it's been resonating with our clients. We always started with Uber, but here we are today. The barrier to entry is pretty simple. We have two methodologies. We just did our latest LinkedIn post was about it. So, go take a look there. There's more graphics and stuff. But a service provider, if you want to use IronSight, all you need to do is onboard your customers, name, email, send them. They can download an app or go to your website. So let's just say it was Geoffrey Cann Oilfield. It would be jeffreycannoilfield.ironsight.app. They could go on, request your services. They could track you. You could send them the bill after to sign it. And then it integrates into the Geoffrey Cann Oilfield Services systems of choice.
Right.
So that's one way.
Yep.
The second way, and where we've been working heavily focused on over the last 4 years, is onboarding the demand side. So we'll go to the oil and gas producers and say, hey, there's a bunch of data that we want to collect digitally for you within the process. Tell us who you want onboarded. So, it's very common. They'll give us a list of 50 companies, a contact. We go train, onboard them onto their platform. And, they're going to connect and execute work that way. And while everybody, I talked about those end systems, collecting that data and pushing it in there. So 2 ways, and excited to bring this into the market even further.
Yeah, and so there must be some complexity in here that makes this challenging problem technically to solve. Is it the matching of the demand for service against the available supply, or are the operators actually saying to a specific service company, "Here's your order, go execute"? Like, where is the hidden complexity in this? Which is what makes it so innovative, I guess, is really their question.
No, for sure. So it's the second one you said. We make that very clear to all of our clients right off the bat. Hey, like, you need to send them a work request you're doing it already via email or text or calls.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
Now you're going to assign it to Geoffrey Cann Oilfield. They're going to get a notification, an email. Hey, you got a new job on IronSight, i.e. like skip the dishes, right? When Subway gets an order, they go in, they confirm it. Now they take that job request, they schedule it to the optimal unit.
Yep.
We're excited to offer them a bunch more that we can get into later in the podcast. But yeah, no, the complexity is actually very simple. Who do you want to do the work? Tag them in it, and we're off and running. Yeah.
Off you go. Yeah, but at the same time, though, once you amass enough critical content in the system, orders, suppliers, operators, wells, locations, it puts you. Does it not create the opportunity for a new level of optimization that you can't even reach to today? And I'll be to be very blunt. If you're an operator and you're commissioning a piece of work to a specific service company, if you don't have visibility to all of the work, that may be a suboptimal work allocation. Whereas your solution, actually, you're in a position to see this much larger landscape of work, services, and wells. And that would put you into a better position to then optimize even further. Am I wrong in that thinking, or is that directionally where this could go?
Yeah, you must be reading our roadmap, our technical roadmap here. So
I'm not reading your roadmap. I'm just imagining if I could think about how do you optimize a much larger landscape. You need to get the data into one spot, and
it's the chicken and the egg problem, right?
Yeah.
So we've decided for the last 4 years, Adam and I, we're going to go and get the demand side. It's very clear to us that our next step, and we raised a bit of capital so that we can increase some, R&D and some engineering hours onto it. But, we're very excited in the next, let's call it 4 to 6 months, to be rolling out what we call our IronSight marketplace.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to go into too much details, but you could just imagine, since we have a bunch of demand and we have a bunch of supply, and all these companies still need to collect their data. So we're not breaking any rules. Everybody has their separated database, but
yep.
I'll give you a quick example of how it's going to look. Is Geoffrey Cann Oilfield can digitally go work for producer 1 in the morning.
Yep.
Next job that'll come up, it can be assigned to Geoffrey Cann. He sees that they have a unit in the area, it'll get assigned to that unit, and you can digitally collect the data in producers 1 database. Data also goes back to Geoffrey Cann Oilfield because they need to collect it for ticketing, payroll.
Yep.
And then digitally, you're going to jump over to producer number 2. And the same thing will happen. So you're going to segregate your data. It's all clean. And everybody, all 3 that in this example, are collecting their data properly and ending into their end systems. And everyone's optimized. So yeah, it's coming, Geoffrey. Super, super excited to bring it to market. And, you're going to see a pretty big push from us here in the next couple of months, and to really stand this up, and we're already doing it. So we're excited just to monetize it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is tremendously innovative, actually. I mean, the impact on road miles alone, I think, would have to be significant. The number of operators or service rigs that are traveling up and down the highway unaware that there's a job they could actually do in that area, and they still, pull back to home base. You're now going to be in a position to reveal that data to them and create the context for that optimization event. Any estimate as to, or have any of your customers said, look, this is the economic effect that we are experiencing, even without this higher order optimization? What are they telling you that they get by way of a benefit here?
Yeah, so of course I'm going to respect our clients. They're our number one priority that we do. So I'll be very, maybe high level on you. But we have one client on the demand side. It was like 17% of OPEX reduction. So, if they're spending $60 million on field services that are on IronSight, it was a 17% reduction on the guesswork side, on the optimization side. We always say we have 2 streams. So that was one of optimization, and that's sustainable. Like, this isn't a one-time savings on a drilling program or on a capital program. This is sustainable for the life of the asset. So yeah, big numbers, and a very simple rollout too, right? We're not talking anything too complicated. The second stream, Geoffrey, we're seeing talk lots about these end houses, is the grunt work, we say now.
Yep.
So there's no more, you don't have 10 production accounting techs just manually uploading tickets anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's digitally, there's it's a one-time small capital fee to do an integration out of IronSight to whatever system you're using. And we're saving money on the optimization and the grunt work, and you can do more with less. You bet.
But the big number there is certainly the OpEx reduction, not the 10 accounting back office professionals. That's the real number. He was taking 17% out of your. That's going to translate into wear and tear on equipment, reduction in carbon probably in terms of road mile usage. So, is there an ESG angle here that you also can you're also seeing through this kind of innovation?
Yeah, for sure. So we're heavily in tune and learning more and more, just like these operators and our clients are, about ESG. So Scope 3 emissions is our wheelhouse. We can tell you we have an easy conversion of, kilometers traveled for the type of unit that's in the field. We can give you your Scope 3, and then we can also benchmark it. So not only can we say, hey, you spent, $23,000 yesterday on your field services that are on IronSight. You also did, 28.6 tons of carbon emission. Like, that's the type of stuff that we're getting into, and truly just working with our clients to understand, like, does that mean anything? Does that move the needle for you? And all of them are saying, hey, yeah, let's learn more. And as Scope 3 emissions become more prevalent over the years, we're in a good position for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a big step up in this. Now, right now, you're in the energy industry, principally upstream oil and gas.
I know we're just starting to get into midstream. We're gaining our market into upstream and midstream. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say there would be ample distributed midstream assets that would have similar kind of service level needs out there that you could touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like all of our clients haul product or deliver product to a midstream, and they want to collect the data. So does the midstream on the fly, right? So yeah, we're getting into some really good examples, and partnering with a few companies out there too to kind of keep pushing this. Yeah.
So it's not just at the end. I was thinking this was more of a maintenance and operational service to an asset. Are you also doing haulage of and tracking haulage, water, commodities, product?
Yeah, good question. Like, we always say it's 50-50. We get labeled as a fluid only company. Actually, Geoffrey, if you'd go into the market,
really?
Oh, IronSight hauls only product. Because of our background, maybe the name iron, but it's 50-50. So 50% of what's on IronSight of our 15,000 users, 50% of them are in the fluid business. So hauling product, vac trucks, pressure trucks, hot oilers, like fluid haulers. The other half is trades, is electricians, instrument. We're just deploying out to a client in Saskatchewan and propane, right, to run all their skids. So we always say, if there's a demand and a supply for it, put it on IronSight. You're going to gain data. You're going to gain some potential optimization opportunities, and we go from there.
And some insights, yeah. Now, what about the potential for this platform to get into new, interesting markets beyond energy, beyond oil and gas specifically? What about the power sector, or maybe other resource areas like mining, or perhaps rail, which is another distributed asset that would require call outs for crews and the like?
Yeah. So we see probably 2 to 3 industries right off the bat that we can go to. Testing the waters with a few of them, municipalities. I'm going to sit here and I hope anybody from the municipality or the MD or taxpayers in these cities, is ordering a vac truck any different than a street sweeper going around cleaning streets? In our mind, it is not.
Yeah.
There's data, there's optimization opportunities, there's accountability, there's everything in between that you want to collect. So we've tested it. We've jumped into municipalities, working through a couple things right now with a few. The other ones for sure, mining. We'll be going into that. We see opportunities, and then power. It's no different. A windmill needing reports done or inspections done, and optimizing it is no different to us than an electrician going and calibrating a tank level.
Yeah, exactly. Still the notion of a call out and a travel and a trip and a ticket and a charge and a compliance and a report, all of that.
And all of that is data that once should be collected from the field. It shouldn't be handled 3-4 times coming through the office, scanned over to another system, uploaded into the invoicing system. No, that should be all collected and moved over.
And handled in one way.
Yeah.
Where's the convergence possibilities here? And by convergence, I mean convergence with other novel technologies, things like blockchain, or perhaps augmented reality or virtual reality. Like, where are you hearing from customers that there is an appetite to extend the reach of this data set and these services out into these more other interesting technologies?
So, short answer, yes. I'll tell you, we have a strategy at IronSight is we do believe in AI, ML. We do believe in blockchain. But all of our clients, let's just start with the simple. Let's implement IronSight, collect the data, and then we can move into that. So, our more mature clients, that have been with us for 3-4 years, we are 100% doing that with machine learning to, we collect a bunch of forms. So we're looking into like safety data and correlating that to their actual job execution data on a vac truck and, correlating safety events to that. So that's one example. The second one is definitely route optimization. What's the cheapest model? We know, some rates, we know the closest to, we know the duration, et cetera, putting that into a model. So yeah, we definitely believe into that. I think the third one that we see that's definitely coming is like the IoT. So connecting all of your field into one command center, which that's not novel. That's, we're not groundbreaking there. They're doing that already, our clients. But then, and having the opportunity to, augment like requests for tank levels. Here's an example. Tank gets to 70% level, goes in through your SCADA system. We don't want to be that. That's not who we are. But that job that goes in onto your HMI or into a command center, convert that into an IronSight job request that has a fluid hauler around the corner, and you can go pick up that level and maybe add spare capacity on a tank. You're just optimizing your industry. Another one is like a compressor. We're working with a good partner of ours, Spartan Controls, and they they offer this service and all their technicians and everything. So yeah, like a compressor, alarm comes in and they have a technician that's 2 hours away and it's a high priority, right? Dump it right into IronSight, optimize it, send it over, and let's execute the job and do it. So yeah, those are things we're working on.
Yeah, the improvement in resilience here, uptime, responsiveness, getting ahead of problems, all of these things must start to weigh in on organizations as they think about this. It's not at the end of the day, there's a clear cost and productivity angle here, obviously, but it's the resilience of that infrastructure, I think, it has to be another factor people are thinking about.
Yeah, and I think trusting it too, Geoffrey, right? Like, you don't know how many times that we've gone to onboard somebody on a rig somewhere and they think, we're stealing their credit card or like, just the opportunity to, so trusting the system, trusting that you can order a cab or you can order a vac truck or an electrician on an app and they show up and you can see them driving, like it just takes time and, they've tolerated it for so long. So it's change management and, we're happy to be doing it. Yeah.
Are you fielding any inbound international inquiries these days from other countries that might be also interested? And here I'm thinking about Australia because they have very significant distributed field level assets now for their gas industry. The U.S. obviously. Any other countries?
Yeah, for sure. So we're deployed in the U.S. We have a team down there that's doing implementation as we speak, actually, with a big provider in the Permian. Probably even a better use case, to be honest. The Permian's so tight, so compact, so many services, and can't find services now. So, the ones that you do have, they want to retain and optimize. So good rollout there. Yeah, Argentina, we've been talking to a couple national oil companies. It's about timing for us.
Yeah.
And we got to go with the right client. We do have the right client on a couple examples. We have some worldwide MSAs, and we'll be pushing hard in 2022 to be deployed into these, like you're saying, very heavy service-oriented areas.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely. My suspicion is there would be significant interest there because the pressure to optimize, manage methane reductions, carbon emissions, I should say, all of these pressures are global now. It's not just a Canada-only kind of phenomenon. This is now coming to every basin. So it should give rise to some significant demand interest.
Yeah, and it's funny, we have an industry advisory group. So I brought in, pulled together 20, to come into the group, you had to be an organization that's using technology, or you have to be an individual that your team uses software to run the field or run the business.
Yep.
So yeah, we have a really good thing, and it's exciting as we bring in new customers, new clients. Our current ones, the ones that have helped us get to where we're here today, and we're super thankful. They find it interesting, and they can learn off of them. So we're kind of creating a bit of like a great industry advisory group, and we're learning from folks in the DJ Basin, into the Permian, into southern Saskatchewan, into northern BC. So yeah, super excited, and it's only going to enhance everybody.
Are there policy considerations here? Do you find that there are either regulatory blockages or other things beyond just the appetite of the industry to embrace change that are either slowing you down or blocking? Just curious if there's a regulatory angle here.
I don't think we haven't run into anything regulatory. The common, practices like we've always heard, right, is cell coverage.
Of course,
we got rid of that with offline capability, so the system fully works offline. If you don't have cell service, you can still go and execute your work and collect this data. So that was a big one. But regulatory, no, like we haven't. Some maybe minor stuff now that I think about it on the transportation of dangerous goods. We need that federal government to push through that so that anybody can deploy digital solutions and get rid of all this paper and having to carry it in the front pocket of your coveralls. And so there's some minor stuff there, Geoffrey, but we haven't ran into anything else.
Well, that's good to hear. So, because I know the Canadian regulators who might be watching this, it's always useful to provide some perspective from the field to say, here's some things that are impeding our ability to progress the structural features of our industry from a regulatory standpoint. So it's good to know that there's nothing out there that you could see.
Yeah.
Terrific. Shawn, this has been a fascinating discussion, and I very much appreciate you coming on to Energy Innovations today to walk through, call it the skip the dishes model of
there you go.
field and service optimization and upstream oil and gas, upstream midstream now, the energy industry broadly. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, and excited to continue to push on here with IronSight.
This has been another episode of Energy Innovations, and look forward to renewing this connection with a subsequent episode in the very near term. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining our latest interview on Energy Innovations from EnergyNow Media. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. You can contact us at info@energynow.com to book your appearance or to become a sponsor.